Hello, hello. Can you hear me? Just checking to see if you can hear me first. Andrea can hear me. That's good.
Hello, hello.
There we go. I can hear me, which is more than we want. This technology is bigger than I'm accustomed to, but all is well. So we're just going to get ourselves all squared away right here. Okay. Just getting settled in here. Good morning, good morning, good morning. You're all showing up. This is glorious. Happy to see you here. We're just working out some of our little tech issues on this end. Or not issues, we're just testing to make sure you got this all clear and good for you. There we go. Okay. I do believe we are all set. So who do we have here? I'm super excited to welcome you today, and this topic is this topic is my life. This is no joke. This is my life, and I'm super grateful that you've decided to join me today for this very important topic to my heart, which is the 4 secrets that every woman needs to know that nobody's really talking about. And so as we journey today, my intention is to give you the best of the best and to spend an hour together so that you can receive the nectar of this particular topic. So with that, there's Amira. Yay, Stephanie's there. Julie's here. You're coming from all over. So I'm super grateful that you're here. Are any of you guys like way early risers like I am? And Mira, I know you can hardly even speak to this because you have 3 children under the age of 5 in your house. So you take sleep when you can. But I'm super curious, how many of you can just mention it in the comments. How many of you are way early risers like I am, just to help me get some perspective on where we're going? Let's see here. Yay, Karen is here. So just sharing that. There you go. Yep. There's some other there's some other early morning risers in the house. That's awesome. Okay, so we're just going to jump right on in today. So here's the bottom line, right? The bottom line, I'm going to just come right out with it from the very beginning. What I want to do is I want to pack full our time together so that you get the absolute most and the best of me, the most from me and the best from me, so that when you walk away from this hour, you have a shift in perspective and you have some tools underneath your belt to raise yourself up into your next best and highest evolution, which we'll talk about again and again. So we're just going to get going. All right. So in this webinar or in this masterclass, what I'm really here to do today is to teach you what I call the 4 pillars or the 4 secrets And I say secrets because we're not talking about them. We're turning to all these other things that we think are going to make us more productive or more effective or better people, better moms, better partners, better managers. And it's my intention to shine some light on a shift in perspective for you and to give you some tools behind that perspective so that you have everything that you need to lay a foundation for yourself to rise into your next best and highest evolution. So by the end of our time together, you're going to learn how to identify these 4 pillars in your own world, these pillars to live a more inspired and really a more resilient life so that you can crawl in bed at night and, as one of my teachers many years ago used to say, give yourself a standing ovation. I want to be able to crawl in bed at night and say, you know what? This is standing ovation worthy, this life that I've been living. So right out of the gate, I'm going to share with you something that I created and let you know that if you're here with me at the end and you decide that you want to continue to work with me, I'm going to give you this, which is a little cookbook that I put together. Oh, that is coming from many years of running retreats and finding myself in the kitchen. And what I've loved more than anything is sitting with my retreat participants at the end of a retreat and just watching them have mouth orgasms over the desserts that we offer at our retreats and that I create and make with my own hands. So these are some of my favorite desserts, and it's called dessert for breakfast because everything that I put in my body as a dessert on retreat, not always, but on retreat, I want to be super packed with nutrients. So that's what this is about. So if you're with me at the end of this 1-hour session, and if you decide to continue to journey with me, I'm going to give you this little cookbook. Okay, so as we enter in, I'm just going to invite you to turn off your distractions, see if you can close your door, put your phone on mute, whatever it is. Anything that's potentially going to take you away from getting the most out of your time here is what I'm offering. You can just turn that off or put that aside for now so that we can get right into this. Okay, now that being said, we're going to go right to the nectar. And this is an exercise that I call the 4 pillars exercise. So you can do it with me now, and or even better yet, you can do this later, but you can just write down how you're going to do it. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a piece of paper and you're going to draw 2 intersecting lines on that piece of paper. And you're going to put 4 quadrants on that piece of paper. And those 4 quadrants, just as I've done here, show the words do, think, feel, and know. Now, this exercise is something that I literally turn to regularly. I probably do this at minimum 8 times a year. 8 times a year. It's any time that I go, okay, I'm at a crossroads, or I've just finished a really big project, or there's something else. There's been something pulling at me that's taking me away from my clear perspective. Whatever it is, anytime that I'm at a crossroads and I'm saying, okay, it's time for me to rise, I come to this exercise. It's super simple. It doesn't take very long at all. You make your little crosshatch. You say do, think, feel, and know. And then what you do is in each of those quadrants, as I've done here, you write what you currently are doing, thinking, feeling, and what you currently know. You brain drain. What are you currently doing, thinking, feeling, and knowing? Like doing, not particularly in this moment, but from a resilience perspective. So for me, what am I doing? I'm running 3 days a week. I'm meditating. I've got my morning prayers. I'm drinking water regularly. I'm taking supplements and I'm doing a smoothie every single day. I'm massaging my feet every single night before I crawl into bed. I'm taking a 2-hour technology break before I go to bed, right? Those are things that I might be doing, so I can write down what I'm currently doing. But then I also write down in that same quadrant, I write down what could I be doing? In other words, what things could I be doing that would make the greatest positive impact in my life? Okay, so I'm not eating breakfast. I could start eating breakfast. Okay, I'm not going to bed before 10. I could start going to bed before 10. Okay, I'm not meditating. I could start meditating, right? And then I do that in each quadrant. So what am I thinking, right? What am I thinking? Am I thinking that I live like everything is crazy? There's things are going in a negative direction. I don't have any idea what's going to happen with my life. Or am I thinking I am held? Am I thinking that what is meant for me cannot be kept from me? Am I thinking that there's potential everywhere, right? What am I thinking? Or again, in the same quadrant, what could I be thinking? Right? So I'm bringing attention to what's not working for me, and I'm turning my attention to what is working for me. So then after I've done that in each of my 4 quadrants, then what I do is I circle just one in each of those quadrants. This is how I do it, right? There's 1,000 things we could be doing, but I circle just one in each of those quadrants that I want to focus my energy upon, that if I put that one action or that one consistent thought or that one consistent feeling or that one consistent knowing, like what do I know? What do I know? What I know is that I am safe. What I know is that I'm in a healthy body. What I know is that I have everything that I need for today, right? So I circle one in each of those quadrants that I want to focus my energy upon, and then I'll transfer that over to another piece of paper, and I'll look at the ways in which that I can use each of those activities as my 4 pillars for taking myself and jump-starting myself in the direction of living a life of a higher frequency, if you will, of greater impact, of more energy, more vitality. So this is the exercise that I go to again and again and again. All right, so I'm not sure why you're here today exactly, but what I will offer up is that in my experience, there's a pretty good chance that you fall into one of 3 categories. And the first one is this. There's a chance that you are longing for a deep and authentic life, right? Is that real for you? Is that something that you're turning to and something that you want to have be a part of your world, authenticity and depth, where your intuition is present and you're honoring your body's needs and you finally stop pushing yourself through, caffeinating yourself through, driving through, but instead you are longing for that deep and authentic life where you know your own intuition and you honor your body's needs and finally stop pushing so much. That's the first one. Or perhaps already you started to slow down. And although listening might not come super easy to you, you're really ready, right? You're ready to pay closer attention. You're also ready to stop getting dragged into the woods, if you will, because somebody says, oh, you need to do this, or you should do that. Or you do things because you don't want to be ostracized, or you don't want to be called a nonconformist, or you don't want to cause trouble, or simply because that shaky little voice somewhere inside of you that says, hey, pay attention to me. Perhaps that shaky little voice still isn't quite strong enough for you to say, you know what? This is the direction that is in my highest good, and therefore in the highest good of those that I love, and in the highest good of all those that I touch. Or maybe you just know that there's more, that there's just more. I've had those moments where it's like, no, I can just feel it. Like I'm just like when you're going for a hike and you're like, no, there's more. I got more. I can put more into this. You know that there's more in this life at large. There's more for you to feel. There's more for you to experience. There's more for you to be. And there's more that you can share. And you want to be sure of yourself for yourself so that you can make the greatest impact in this life. And again, for your own good, for the good of others, and for the good of the world. So again, tell me, I'm so curious, which one of these if you would be so kind as to share in the comments, because this new interactive technology is new to me and I'm super curious. Oh, because I miss you, right? I love you, Mira. That's why Mira's here. She's here. So tell me which one of these most speaks to you. Is it that you're longing for depth and authenticity? Is it that you're ready to listen to your inner voice and stop pushing? Or is it that you know that there's more and you want to rise into that highest evolution of yourself so that you can make a greater difference? So write that in the chat if you would be so kind so I can see that. Okay, so here we are, moving on. All right, so before we go much deeper into before we really dive into the content, what I'd love to do is to just introduce myself to you if you don't know me, or if we've never met, or if you just don't know very much about me. So my name is Britt. And here's a few pictures to give you a little bit of a sense of who I am. I just pulled these 3 photos. So on the right-hand side, you will see my partner and we have a mud mask where we would take people on retreats, and we're in some hot springs. The photo at the bottom is me when I was invited to go to Japan and to raise money for an orphanage. And this young man in the blue shirt with the scrunched up nose, although he looks like he just ate something sour, he told me that day that he wanted to marry me. And he was one of the orphans in the orphanage. And so I was doing a course actually on these topics, on this exact work, for all of these children and all of the presenters in this orphanage. And the woman in the pink shirt beside me, she was my translator. So that was in Tokyo, Japan. And then the picture on the left is a picture of myself and Dr. Deb Kern, who's one of my dear soul sisters and mentors. I have a super high reverence for sisterhood and a super high reverence for those women who don't just say, yeah, keep going, but they actually look you in the eyes and say, are you off track? How can I support you? What do you need that you're not getting? And they learn to ask questions instead of telling me what to do. And she's one of those people. And yes, if you recognize the woman on the right in that picture, that is Dr. Chris Northrup. And in this photo, Deb and Chris Northrup and I, Chris wrote the international bestseller, Women's Bodies, Women's Wisdom. She also wrote Goddesses Never Age. And we were out for dinner. The 3 of us were out for dinner. And in this beautiful restaurant in Portland, and Chris Northrup, in full and amazing Chris Northrup style, leaned over to Deb at one point in the middle of our conversation and said, "This is a medical emergency." And she pulled out her little velvet bag and spread out her tarot cards across the food spread in a restaurant that was wide open and full of people. So I just say that this is a little insight into my world. This is who I am. And this is a little bit of history into what I do and how I do it. So even a bit more, I have a master's degree in public health, and I tallied it up, and I've taught more than 20,000 hours of teaching and training and speaking. And I've been online and in the online world teaching and training here for more than 15 years. I've lived and I've studied and I've taught across the globe. And as I said in the very beginning, and I'll say until the end, and any of you who know me, I live these teachings. And so suffice it to say that I wake up in the morning before the sun, and honest to goodness, 90% of the time, I rise inspired, rested, and ready for whatever is coming. And I get at it, whatever it is. And if for some reason, that other 10% of the time I'm feeling lost, or I'm having an emotional challenge or physical challenge, or something's going on, I know what to do. And I go back to this roadmap that I'm going to be sharing with you. And just the same, even when the 10% of the time rises and I just feel meh, or I feel blah, or I just feel like I don't know how I'm going to do it, I get at it. I do the same thing because ultimately what I have learned and what I practice is that it's not what happens in life that determines how I feel and how productive I am. It's what I do with what happens. There's nothing to me that is more important than that. So today, in this hour together, I am here because more than anything, I want you to feel how I know you can feel each and every morning when the sun rises. Now, in all transparency, the content of this masterclass is the basis of a new program that I'm going to be launching on February 22nd. And I'm here today in the hopes that you join me for this program. But I promise you that there is a ton of really pure nectar in this next hour, and it's going to be super worth your time. And then no matter what you choose at the end of this masterclass, to come on this journey with me or to not come on this journey with me, all is well. I support you, and I only want you to rise. That's my only objective. And I am a firm believer that you and I, that we have everything we need to rise. So I have a question for you. Can you imagine what it would feel like if every morning you awakened so full, ready to rise and to live your best life? Because it's your life that ultimately really lights you up. What I have come to learn, and this is the one thing that if I could encompass all of this, is that when I am conscious and when you are conscious and intentional with your day-to-day choices, the little things of your body, your mind, your heart, and your spirit, that these are the tools and that this consciousness is the single most powerful way for you to rise into the highest expression of yourself so that you can share your best self with your family, your work, and your world. And I say that because so often we think or we get lost because we think that we need to turn our attention to our family, our work, and our world when the highest expression, if somebody's not bleeding or starving to death, right? The highest expression is to turn our attention to ourselves. As we know it to be said, to put your own oxygen mask on first. So if you're like me, you probably want to know what we're going to get into today. And so I'm going to just lay it out for you. It's going to be really simple. And it's this. I'm going to go through 4 pillars. We're going to begin with the pillar of the physical body. Then we're going to move into the pillar of the mind. Then we're going to move into the pillar of the heart. Then we're going to move into the pillar of the spirit. You might be surprised how I define that. And then I'm going to talk about what your potential next steps are. And then I'm going to open it up to live Q&A at the end. So that's where we're going. So the first one, right out of the gate, your body, your physical body. I like to refer to your physical body, my physical body, as your new old BFF. So what do you know, right? Tell me in the comments, what do you know? What do you know about what are the qualities of a best friend? What do you consider to be the qualities that light you up when you meet someone? What do they do for you? What is it that they bring out in you? So put those things in the comments if you would. And I'm just going to share. Yeah, so just loving that. Like Linda Lancaster said that you're here for all 3 of those reasons, right? You're here to rise into your highest expression. You're ready to slow down and listen to your intuition, all of it, right? Kristen as well. Yeah, exactly. Mira, they support you, they hold you, they nourish you. Exactly. So here's the deal, right? Here's how I see a best friend. Number 1, she tells me the truth. Number 2, she doesn't have any agenda for me to be different. Carolyn Brewis said, they love you as you are. Exactly. They do everything possible to support you. You got it, Mira. They never abandon you. A BFF, a best friend forever, will be there through it all. And they also want you to be efficient, clear, at ease, and productive. Your body is your new BFF. It's your old BFF. Now here's the deal. You don't need to be totally in love with every detail or every aspect of your body to hear and to heed her wisdom. The only requirements are that you are willing to listen to whatever messages the body gives you, and that you can trust that there's a reason that that message is coming through. You're open to receive that information, and you're willing to take a tiny little step. In other words, to be in communication with that information and to move forward from that place. That's it. Again, you don't need to be totally in love with every aspect of your body to hear and heed her wisdom. You just simply need to listen, trust that there's a reason, be open to receive, and take the next right step. Stephanie Block, Robin says, oh, Robin, strong, sensitive, supportive, absolutely, wants the best for me wholly. Exactly. Your body wants that for you. Your body wants that for you. So here's the deal. It comes down to this. Take good care of your body. It's the only place you will ever live. Like, we forget that, right? Take good care of your body. It's the only place I'm ever going to live. Maybe it matters what kind of oil I put in my body. Maybe it matters if I drive myself into the ground. Maybe it matters if I ignore the messages or if I listen to the messages. Take care of your body. It's the only place you will ever live. So this is one of my soul sisters and students. And I asked her, after having done an online program with me and been on retreat with me, I'm so curious, like, what are the things that you have gleaned through this process and through these practices with me? And she said, oh, it's easy. I start my day right because I prioritize what I have learned works well for me. And then this keeps me grounded and productive. I also know that now, having been through this work and done this, my toolbox for getting through life's challenges is really robust. And I know what to do, and I know when to do it, and I do it. And overall, she said, oh my goodness, I make way better choices, and I take better care of myself. And it's no longer a struggle. It's an honor. Now, this is huge because Candace does a lot of the same work that I do. She's a life coach. She's out there helping people all the time. And she has learned that when she turns her attention to herself, that this is not selfish. This is essential. Secret number 2, or pillar number 2, is your mind. This is what I like to call your command center. Now, that's not what's the word? I didn't make that up, I'll just say, right? Your command center. In yoga, we call this Ajna Chakra, and Ajna Chakra means command center. Now, I want to make it really clear, it's not your control center. By no means do I want this to control this. Because this is like 100 drunk monkeys swinging on the trees from branch to branch to branch to branch. So it is my command center, but it is not my control center. Here's some things to know about the mind. Number 1, energy is always going to follow attention. Who talks about that? Right? Where you place your attention. Again, remember, go back to that first exercise, the 4 quadrants, the pillar exercise. What am I thinking? Energy is going to follow those thoughts. You know those individuals that you've gone to lunch with back in the day when you could go to lunch with someone, or you're talking to on the phone, and they're catastrophic, and you think, gosh, you can't see how much good you have in your life. Why? Because their energy is following their attention. Second, addictions run really deep, as if to say that when we are addicted to something, whether I have coffee or coffee has me, whether I'm reaching for a glass of wine every night or that wine has me, whether I'm binge watching Netflix, right? These things run deep, as if to say the reason that you're doing that has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with the fact that you're depleted at the root system. What we see in the leaves of a tree has to do with what's happening at the root system. It's the same within us. And the mind is not to be controlled. We can't control it. It is meant to be understood and to be respected. The mind's going to do what the mind's going to do. The mind's going to think. The world's going to do what the world's going to do. The world's going to whirl. So we want to not control the mind. We want to notice, understand, and respect the mind, and remember within ourselves that thoughts become things. Thoughts become things. So I'm just going to take a tiny little bit of a pause here. And can you see, tell me in the comments if you would please, can you see how these subtle shifts in perspective can change everything? Can you see how, just give me a yes. Tell me yes if you agree with me, or, challenge me up if you want to challenge me. But can you see how powerful these practices, just in terms of how we see our body and what we do with the information, and how we see our mind and what we do with the mind, actually has to do with our overall vitality, our overall perspective, and our overall impact we have in the world. All right, so I want to hear from you. Just going to look at our comments here. So, Kristen, BFFs communicate and they stay in touch. Amen, sister. Going back to that. That is so true. Mira, it's my home. Exactly, right? It's my home, only second to my mama's belly. It's the only home. Yes, exactly. Yeah, drunk monkeys, right? That is what the mind does. The mind thinks. So here's what I'm here to say, and I'm going to say it again and again. We turn our face toward the sun and we let the shadows fall behind. The shadows are going to be there. Where there is light, there is shadow. Where there is sunlight, there is shadow. Just like the sunflowers, we turn ourselves to the sunlight and we let the shadows fall behind us. Kristen says, like onions, so many layers to peel back, right? Right? Absolutely. Kristen knows we've done some really good work together. Stephanie, yes to the powerful changes. It is in the finding of those distractions. Exactly. Right? That's a question I ask so often. You bring this up and so beautifully. In finding those distractions, I'm constantly saying, do I have coffee in the morning or does coffee have me? In other words, who's in control here? Is it like, must have caffeine? Caffeine has me, right? Okay. So here's the thing with the mind. You've heard this said. These are not my words. Thoughts become your words. Words become your actions. Actions become your habits. Habits become your character. And your character eventually becomes your life. So we remember this and we turn our attention to this. Okay, so here's what I say we do with the mind. Treat your mind like an unruly, untrained little husky puppy, right? The mind is not meant to be controlled. You can't control this little puppy. You can redirect it. And then you memorize what works, right? You build upon that and you memorize what works. What is it that I can turn my attention to again and again and again? When I feel that there are positive ways that this is affecting me, when there are ways that I feel and sense and know in my bones and in my blood and in my belly that works, how do I just take pause and say, okay, that feels good. And I want to remember the power of that. Whether it's the way you handle a situation physically, the way you handle a situation mentally, or the way you handle a situation emotionally. Okay, now I was so excited about this slide. So you choose a phrase and you put it in all the places. Now, what I mean by that is this is the favorite place I put things. Some of you know this about me. I love to take the words that are the most meaningful for me, that make the biggest change internally for me. I write them on a piece of paper and I plaster them next to where I sit on the loo, because I am a captive audience of myself in that moment, right? Does that make sense? I'm so curious. Okay, what have you been saying? Let me see here. Question for later. Yes to the powerful. Okay. Mantra is a tool to control the mind. Are those tools like mantra less about control and more? Oh, totally. Mira, you know this, right? Question for later, mantra. So the word mantra means tool of the mind. And what are we doing when we chant mantra? Let's say we're saying, for those who practice yoga with me or practice yoga, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. So you're turning your attention. It's a subtlety, right? When I say redirecting versus controlling. What I mean is when we try to control someone, often there's a restriction. When we try to control a situation, we're restricting it. When you control your kids, you're restricting them. What I'm saying is redirecting is like, wait, come here. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. So don't go down that pathway of getting lost. So yes, absolutely. Not a question for later. It's a question for now. Right. So choose one anchor phrase and put it in all the places. Put it on your dashboard. Put it in your inside of your closet. Put it on your, write it in lipstick with kisses on your bathroom mirror. Do all of these things, but choose an anchor phrase. Choose something. It can be so simple. It can just be breathe. It can be you are beautiful. It can be redirect, right? Anything. Just choose an anchor phrase or a word and put it in all the places. All right. Third secret, third pillar, your heart. This, my beloveds, is your connection to everything. Rumi says it perfectly. Let yourself be silently drawn. All right, here we go. By the strange pull of what you really love, it will not lead you astray. By the strange pull of what you really love. Don't judge it, right? Don't make it wrong. Don't compare it to anyone or anything. Just let yourself be silently drawn. Notice how we're not even talking about it. We're just turning our attention to the light. Because here's the deal. This is a raw diamond. This photo is a raw diamond. And like the raw diamond, the heart will tell you what is true and real through your thoughts and through your body. So we're circling right back up. Your heart is going to speak to you not only through your heart, but through your thoughts and the way you think of things and through your body. If the heart is wounded, if the heart is disconnected, it will be disconnected in words. It will be disconnected in actions. So we're looking again at how our body is holding energy, moving energy, what our mind is doing with that energy as a way in which to reflect what is true and real in the heart. And your only job, beloved, is to pay close attention. This circles us back to where we were, all the way back up, and I'll just read it to you again. We go right back up here. I can find it, as if to say, we are here for consciousness, and that being conscious and intentional with your day-to-day choices is the single most powerful way to rise into the next best and highest expression of yourself. So you're going to notice through your heart, through the heart's energy, the impulse of your heart, what happens to your energy. Do you feel as though you have more energy as a result of a situation or less energy? And what's the quality of that energy? Can you notice what happens to your thoughts? Do you expand or do you contract? And can you notice what happens and where in your body? Where is the tension? And pay attention to that again and again and again. For example, I've been working really hard on this 28-day self-care program, and I'm kind of laughing about it as I say this because I'm going to call myself on the table. Here's what happens. I've been working hard, and I've been working on my computer a lot, and I've been mousing with my right hand, and I noticed a lot of tension in my right shoulder and down in the back of my right tricep on the back side of my right side, and I'm like, okay, right side, masculine energy. I'm driving. Like I gotta create self-care program, right? The irony of it, but the innocence of it. I'm not here to control that. I'm here to redirect it. So what do I do with that? What do I do? Where do I find moments of space in my life? Where do I find ways in which that I can breathe, that I can move, that I can roll around on a ball? It's not about taking out massive chunks of time out of my life. It's taking a moment here and there and again, and using all of those moments of self-care to string together so that what evolves is a life dedicated to self-care. You're going to look for patterns. Look for patterns in terms of how things show up in your body, how things show up in your mind, and how things show up in your heart. If you always meet that kind of person, why is it that I always attract that? Look for that pattern, and instead of looking at what's going on out there, look at what's going on within. If you find that someone always lets you down, or you always have to do it, or whatever it is, look for those patterns. And nothing more. Your job, again, is to just pay attention. So another one of our students, Valerie Branch, when I asked her, so tell me, what has this online program done for you? She said, oh, I'm able to better discern what's true in my heart and come back to my center much more quickly so that I can navigate high pressure situations and deadlines with a lot more ease and joy. And she's in a high pressure, immediate need of response as a radio producer in San Francisco. And this is how she sees it. Able to better discern what's true in my heart, come back to my center more quickly so that I can navigate high pressure situations and deadlines with much greater ease and joy. So post your response to this question in the comments. I'm looking for this. Mira, haha. Right. I love Mira's here. Mira's one of my soul sisters as well. Mira's a brilliant human being. You're all brilliant human beings. I'm just loving that you're here. Okay, so tell me this. Post your response in the comments. What does your heart really long for that you haven't quite given yourself the space to bring into your life? Nothing out there, right? Remember, let it come back to thought. What am I thinking? What am I doing? What am I feeling? What do I know? What does your heart really long for that you haven't quite given yourself the space to bring into your life? So just go ahead and post that in the comments. I'm just going to take a breather here. So while you're posting that in the comments, you'll see what I got going on here. I'll just share with you my entourage, my trinity. Smoothie, water, green tea with cashew milk. So these are my three. And I haven't finished any one of them because I've had a little bit of all of them, and I will finish them all. But this is just a prime, like this is not just because I'm here with you today. This is how I am always. I usually have my smoothie on my desk. I usually have my water with lime. Oh, and my green tea. Guess what else is in my green tea? Like, these are all the things that are going to be part of the 28-day program. I have lavender oil, food grade lavender oil. Why? Because I constantly want that nervine effect in my body. I want my body to be relaxed as I move. Okay, so what do we see? Mira, more time for me. Yeah. Mira and Linda, exploring my creative potential. Absolutely. What does your heart long for? My heart longs for awe and wonder and passion, spending more time every single day doing the things I love, meditation, yoga, healthy cooking and eating. Yes. Yeah. And in the beginning, what we must do is we just break free of the perception that there's constraints around time, that there's constraints around energy, that there's constraint around money, because ultimately it is a glorious sense of freedom when we find that just a flicker of time here and there and here and there, and even amidst the chaos, I can sit here right now with you. I can place my feet. I can't reach the floor because I'm in a stand-up desk. And I'm seated in a bar stool, so my feet are on the platform below, but I put both of my feet down, or you can put your feet on the floor. I can just open through my heart center. I can turn my tongue up into the back toward the roof of my mouth. I can relax my eyes, and I can simply draw more life force into my body just like this, because if I'm tense and I'm restricted, I'm not able to receive. Okay, so your final of your four pillars is your spirit. So we've done body, mind, heart, and spirit. This one is the best, right? They're all very important, but this one's the best because this is your way that you do you. And this is Liesel. This picture is Liesel. This is one of my soul sisters who you'll meet in a little bit. This is her daughter. And here's what I'm here to say. If you're looking for a better way, That better way is simple. It's your way. That's why at the beginning of this, I said, hey, I'm going to be teaching a 28-day program. I'm going to tell you about that. But more than anything, I want you to find your better way and for you to do your way. And that better way is your way, period. And it is absolutely never too late to follow your spirit, for you to do you the way that you desire to do you, the way that your heart is calling you to do you, the way that your body is relaxing around doing you, and the way that your mind is saying yes to you doing you. Ginny, another one of our students, just bringing her forth here. These are some of the questions when I look at bringing forth my spirit. These are the questions I ask myself. What did I love as a child? For me, it was dance, it was music, it was art, it was all those things. So even though I gotta make a living, even though I'm very much a businesswoman, I'm a go-getter, I love all those things. I love structure and I love discipline. I love all these things. What did I love as a child? How do I bring those things that I loved so much into the container of my adultness so that I do me my way? And then also I remember all the time that where I feel small, where I feel scared, I might say, where I feel nervous, where I feel uncertain, that is the doorway. That is what I want to get comfortable with. That's what I want to lean into so that it opens. And you start small with the little things, right? If it feels huge to do something big and you don't feel like there's a bridge yet that's been built between where you are and where you want to go, change your socks. Like wear some crazy socks, wear different jewelry, right? Act as if, put clothes on that emulate the type of woman that you want to be, right? Wear jewelry that emulates the kind of woman that you want to be. Put a worry stone. I say don't put a worry stone in your pocket. Put a joy stone in your pocket. Put a hope stone in your pocket. Put that in your pocket so that every time you touch it, that grows because energy follows attention. And then grow with it. Listen to music that inspires you. Start your day with the sun in a way that inspires you. All of these things. And then like where you feel small or feel scared, that's about getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. So we want to remember that too, that sometimes fear is not telling us to move away from something, but most often in our lives, fear is telling us to pay attention because I got something for you. Lori Jo Daniels, another student and soul sister, an artist, a nature lover. She's a grandma and a fairy maker. She just said about working together, oh my gosh, there's no going back to who I was. And I am now confidently walking the path of my authentic calling. I am so inspired. I love her. She made, at our last retreat, we made a whole family of fairies. It was quite amazing. Listen to what your body, your mind, and your heart tell you, and then go in the direction that expands you. There is no wrong way to do anything or any of this, but there is a better way, and that way ultimately is your way. And ultimately, the only difference between where you are right now and where you want to be are the steps that you haven't yet taken, right? I'm going to say that again, right? Come on back to me if you're multitasking. The only difference between where you are right now and where you want to be are the steps you have not yet taken. So remember I said we'd go body, mind, heart, spirit. Here's your next steps. You take your pick. Number one, you can keep doing what you're doing. Maybe thus far you're like, you know what? I'm doing awesome. Like I'm on this. Then I say, huge affirmation, maybe tune things up a little bit. Go for it. You're doing great. I champion that. And I'm super excited that that's where you are. Or you can follow a proven roadmap. So those are your two choices as far as I see it today. Keep doing what you're doing or follow a proven roadmap. Here's the mama of Liesel, and she said in an email, to say that your program has been a salve to me this past year would be an understatement. It sustains me, reminds me to live with open eyes and an open heart, and to show up and do the best that I'm able. I feel connected to other women in this program and in my life, and I'm so very grateful that you are choosing each moment to live these teachings and to bring them to light for myself, others, and in service to the world. Now, here's what I'll say. Remember that uniqueness, how you do you, about spirit. She, meaning every woman, is way more than and way more potent than the sum of her parts. So this is that same Margie, a Harvard law grad, a mama to a toddler, an environmental policymaker. She's a surfer, and she is by all means a wisdom keeper. We too hold all of these qualities within us as well. Julie said, finding how to bring more creativity and passion into the 72-year-old life. You keep going, Julie. We're right there with you. There you go. So you hear me say over and over and over again, rise into your next best and highest evolution. Rise, rise with the sun, rise. Rise is comes from the Old England root risen, to rise up from sleep, to get up, to stand up, to rise to one's feet, and even to rise together and to be fit. Not fit like fitness, but fit meaning in alignment with. From the old Proto-Germanic, us risanan, to go up, to rise, to flow, to travel, to rise for a journey. I love etymology. This is one of my things that I go back to again and again. Also means to rise from the dead. The meaning to come into existence, to originate, to result from. And it also means to rebel or to revolt. From the early 14th century, to rebel or to revolt means to rise. We are doing that because, as Mira reminded me, that I said, that actually comes from Vivekananda, to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick world is no measure of health. So at some point we must rebel, we must revolt just a little bit. And in that way, something will happen, something will occur, something will take place. So the question I have for you is simple. Would you like me to help you rise into your next best and highest evolution, starting now? What I want for you is to take your next best right step, your next best right step. I want for you to rise, but that ultimately isn't for me to decide what that looks like. I can only tell you what roadmap I follow and hope that you glean something useful from it and from my journey. So here's how I see it. You can try to create a life-friendly self-care program without a roadmap. That's all good. Without the community, that's all good. The risk is that you might wake up a year from now where you are now, or worse yet, you might lose ground. Or you both feed in, commit, and you rise into your next best and highest evolution right now with a roadmap, with a community, and with me. So here's the drum roll, right? I have created this program called the Radical Self-Care Roadmap. Radical because we're stepping outside of the lines. We're not just looking at massages and eating a smoothie and getting a pedicure. We're talking about, what does self-care really look like? How do I live erotically? How do I live through death? How do I rise every single day, refreshed, rejuvenated, inspired, no matter what's going to happen today? No matter whether or not I'm going to a funeral, or something's dying, or something's being born. This is the way in which that we are radical in the ways in which that we practice self-care, and this is the roadmap. The Radical Self-Care Roadmap is the only guided program of its kind that not only shows you exactly how to create and implement a life-friendly self-care program, but it also teaches you how interconnected your self-care is to the abundance, meaning, and vitality of your whole world, making self-care an absolutely indispensable part of your life. You're not going to want to drop this any more than you'd want to stop brushing your teeth. This is the Radical Self-Care Roadmap. In this course that starts February 22nd, you will pinpoint what's really in the way of taking better care of yourself. You'll put into practice daily self-care that doesn't feel like another thing to do, but instead raises you up, inspired, and ready for anything. You'll also build for yourself a foundation for vitality and ease and impact through small, doable steps. All of this to say, all of these pieces together ultimately will jumpstart your health physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And then at the end of these 20 days, we'll put all these pieces together and we together will create a personalized, practical, radical self-care plan just for you. In this program, there are 4 modules: body, mind, heart, and spirit. There are 12 lessons. You will get quizzes and PDFs and supporting documents and resources in really easy to use, easy peasy ways to implement what you learn as we go along. There'll be time for practice and implementation. And I'm going to be with you. This is kind of my trademark. I'm going to be with you every single morning for your daily check-in. Bedhead and all, perhaps, encompassing the lessons from each week and each module. You also will be able to join our ready-made community. We're already there, of like-minded women who will walk by your side to inspire you and to help you rise into your next best and highest evolution. Then, in this way, because you're still here, just remember that dessert for breakfast is going to be the bonus that I offer you if you join me for Radical Self-Care Roadmap. This is that little recipe book that has all my favorite recipes, and they're the ones that I've created and I've made with my own hands for years. And you are going to find in these pages sweet treats that are scrumptious enough to serve to even your most particular guests, and nourishing enough to eat even for breakfast. So that's the first thing that you get in addition to the program. Now, perhaps you think that I innately have something that you don't have. Like I have resources, or I have time, or something. I have experts or teachers, or I've been able to travel and learn and study and I get to put all my time. That isn't true. I just simply have a roadmap that I follow every single time that I'm ready to rise in whatever way I'm being called to do so. And I use that roadmap. Your second bonus for signing up for the Radical Self-Care Roadmap is a monthly Q&A with me for the whole year. Each and every month for the rest of 2021, you're going to be invited to a live Q&A where you can ask me anything in a private group. You can bring your struggles, your challenges, your roadblocks, and then I'll be there to help work my magic best I am able and help you untangle your limiting beliefs about time and energy and whatever else it takes for you to live your very best life. I want you to look closely at your life and then to come to these Q&As for a refresh and a reset so that you are setting yourself up to take the very best care of you. Now, with this program, there's a guarantee. This is something that is new. I've not done this recently, but I'm doing it for this program because it's a new program and because I want you to feel really trusting that you can jump on in. And if you decide it's not for you, within 7 days and you get all of the first week's information and modules, if you're still not satisfied with the program, all you have to do is show me your efforts within those 7 days of enrolling, and I'm going to gladly give you a refund, no questions asked. 100% refund. The second bonus you're going to get, actually the third, because you get your dessert for breakfast, and then you get your Q&A, and then you get Radical Self-Care Kitchen class. This is an extra special bonus dedicated to showing you a behind the scenes look at my life and my kitchen, where I'm going to share with you additional real life recipes and gadgets and products and a few of my favorite meals and snacks and smoothies and hacks. This is pretty unusual, but this is the one thing that students ask for more than anything over the years. Okay, so the Radical Self-Care Roadmap, the value of that when we look at the 4 modules is $525. The first bonus, the dessert for breakfast, that's $15. The monthly live Q&A, we value at $195. And the Radical Self-Care Kitchen class, that's worth $79. So the total value of this program, if we add all that up, is $814. This is the first time I'm ever running this program, and I want this to be a place where you can afford it. And I also know that life is challenging at this time for a lot of us. So your price is $249. You get 28 days, 4 modules, 12 lessons. And if you'd like to register, all you do is go to brittbsteele.com, Radical Self-Care. You can go to brittbsteele.com right now, and it will say Radical Self-Care at the top. And you can register and join right now, and you will have immediate access to our Facebook group. Some of you are already in there as grassroots members, and I'm super excited that you're here. Okay, so how you do this, like I said, you head on over to registration, you go to the Radical Self-Care Roadmap, super simple. You click on the button, you go on in there, you make your payment, you get registered, you'll then receive an email from me, and then you'll go ahead and join our Facebook community. Super simple. Join the Facebook community. I'm already in there on occasion, and we will come together on the 22nd, but already there's women in there that are talking about how they're practicing self-care, what it is that's working for them, what their challenges are, and you're going to be primed for the pump. So why you're here, right? I know why you're here ultimately. It's the same reason I'm here. It's because we want more than ever to live authentically. We want to live meaningful lives. We want to live good lives, and we're ready to take these next steps. You're ready to start listening to your intuition, and you're ready to start taking better care of yourself. And if you're like me, there's those moments where you say, you know what, I've had enough of the other. I've had enough of dumbing down or numbing out. You're also here because you know that you are somehow in some way perhaps living just a little bit below your potential, and there's really no better time than now to change that. So perhaps you're already thinking, you know what, I already feel exhausted and overwhelmed, and what if I don't have time to do this course? What I'm here to say is that this is exactly why you want to do this course, because that exhaustion and that overwhelm is a result of the well not being full, of going against the grain instead of reaching in and fortifying and nourishing your body, your mind, your heart, and your spirit every single day. But if you find, again, that you just simply do not have time to do this course, remember that you do have that option up to 7 days in to get a full refund. Also, what if this course isn't a good fit for me? Once again, if it's not a good fit for you, up to 7 days in, you're going to know that, and you can just simply make the request and get your refund. And then perhaps you think, I've tried online courses before and it wasn't really a great experience. There's something about it that you go, I'm just not sure. I've been doing this in the online world for 15 years. And what I know to be true is that I'm going to be there right beside you every step of the way. I have worked out a lot of these kinks with other individuals and students over the past. And as they've fallen away, we've implemented ways in which to keep us engaged. And I'm just going to keep on walking right beside you. So you made it. So if you join me today, all you'll need to do is check your email. And today, later in the day, I'll send you dessert for breakfast as soon as your registration is processed. So here's the deal. Now we're going to go ahead and move into our Q&A. And I just want to make sure that you know that I'm here for you. And I'd love to know what part of this makes sense to you. I'd love to know if you have any additional questions. And let's just bring this right back over to me. There we go, just me. So tell me what it is that you have in terms of questions, comments. Tell me the ways in which that you can see that these practices or these strategies or just this shift in perspective can change everything for you. Tell me. I'm right here for questions. So Mira's saying, as a longtime student of Britt's, I am here to say this all works. Life-changing work. I love you. Thank you, Mira. Aw, this is wonderful. I love this community. So Kristen's part of this community. Kristen, can I tell them what we're doing together? Or I'm so putting you on the spot. I just want to explore. Or maybe Kristen wants to say so. Kristen was in our Pilgrim program. So that's a program that is 108 days, but sometimes 108 days can feel a little bit like I'm asking you to give me your firstborn, which I'm not doing, but 108 days is a huge commitment. But again, it's the tiniest little bit of a commitment each day. So Kristen and I are also doing some additional very creative work together, but that's a whole other thing. Anyway, so some of the questions that arise as we look here. Here we go. Are you going to be there? Yeah, I am absolutely going to be there. I'm going to be in the Facebook group. I'm going to be really active in the Facebook group. Those of you who aren't part of Facebook, never mind. Everything's also going to live stream every morning to YouTube. So you're just going to be able to show up right away on live stream in the mornings. And that's where I'm going to do my daily check-ins with you. And then everything's going to come through email. And we're all, did you see that large bug that just flew? In Mexico, everything's like larger than life. So the other thing that is going to happen is you're going to have your Facebook group, and if you're not on Facebook, never you mind, because you're going to have a back page as well. And then many of you know, and who are in who are in the Radical Self-Care Roadmap and are signed up already, many of you know that I'm here by email. I'm just super engaged and super involved. You will not fall through the cracks. You will not be left behind. I will be here, I promise, because I am super dedicated to this. This is just my life force in all ways. Okay, let's see what we got here. Yay! I'm looking forward to this. Yay! Okay, Kristen. Yeah, Kristen's also one of my private clients. So we're doing one-on-one work, which is really a lovely way to rise into your next best and highest evolution. But that's a whole other thing. All right, so if there are no other questions, we are 4 minutes over, and I want to honor your time. So remember, all you have to do is go to brittbsteele.com. I'll put it right over here. Let's see here. Watch this. Give me just a moment, and I'll get it in the comments. I bet I can just put it right there for you. Here's the other thing. If you have found that this is valuable to you, there are going to be other options. There's going to be other ways in which that people that you know and love can come to the same presentation. So if you want to send people my way, please send them to https://secrets, or you can just send people to my website and they can register for any, whoops, that's not right. Let's try that again. I can't, it says I can put user in timeout. That would be me. Sometimes it would probably be a good idea. brittbsteele.com for secrets. Okay, any other questions? All right, this is the one. This is the one, the 4 secrets you can pass on to people. You can pass on the radical self-care on to people. You can pass on the 4 secrets. For this webinar, I'm going to be teaching this particular masterclass a number of times between now and when radical self-care starts on the 22nd. So this week and next week. Any other questions? I don't see anything else. So I'm just loving you. I'm super grateful that you're here. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Wishing you the best, and onward and upwards, beautiful beings. Take good care. Ciao.